Yakarano Jali Bhavati Swadruna Nidra Karma Sharo Rupan Atha Shakula Valam Yakara Samurti Govindavan Krishna Aravinda Dalaya Tavakam Parhavatam Antamsikam Buddha Sundara Tamaham Pajami Govindam Adi Purushan Tamaham Pajami Govindam Adi Purushan Adi Purushan Tamaham Pajami Govindam Adi Purushan Tamaham Pajami Govindam Adi Purushan Tamaham Pajami Govindam Adi Purushan Adi Purusha Prajapati Adi Purusha Tamaham Jari Govila Adi Purusha Tamaham Jari Govila Adi Jari Govindam Adi Purusha Bhajani Govindam Adi Jari Adi Purusha Prajapati Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Prajapati Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Prajapati Govindam Adi Purusham Prajapati Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Prajapati Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Govindam Adi Purusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham 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 Bhajami Govindam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class in ISKCON of St. Louis on Lord Balaram's appearance day. My name is Vishnu Gadda. I'm very fortunate to be visiting in ISKCON St. Louis today for Lord Balaram's appearance. And so we'll start by chanting the traditional Jaya Radha Madhava. You know the song. When Srila Prabhupada first came to Brooklyn Temple in 1971, I was present there. And he said, he had started chanting the Jaya Radha Madhava prayer in India. I think it was in Indore earlier in 1971. And we had heard that Srila Prabhupada was chanting this new prayer prior to Srimad Bhagavatam class, but we didn't know the tune. We just heard that he was chanting. So a devotee made up a tune. It went like this. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodhana. Anyway, so we were chanting that for a couple of months before Srila Prabhupada came. But then he came to Brooklyn Henry Street in July of 1971. And he first Srimad Bhagavatam class, he said, you know the song Jaya Radha Madhava? And the temple room was packed with devotees, and everybody said, yes, yes, yes. And then he said, do you think you can follow me? And we said, yes. So he chanted, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. And we chanted back, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. So Srila Prabhupada was personally present, and he challenged us, do you think you can follow me? But still he couldn't follow, at least not in the first try. But he continued to chant along, chanting, and finally after 4 or 5 back and forth, then we could count on with the tune. So that's very important, because the Acharya, he sets the standard, and we have so many things in our mind and our hearts that deviate us from the standard. But if we continue to try to follow, then gradually we get it. So we'll try to chant along that Srila Prabhupada's way. So just for the Jaya Radha Madhava, so pretty much people who are from Indian background, they know how to pronounce it. But people from the American background, they usually mispronounce the mantra. You know that? Usually they say Jai Radha, Jai Radha. You know that? But it's not Radha, it's Radha. And even if you listen to it, we always say Radha, Radha Madhava, Jai Radha Madhava. But it's not Radha, it's Radha. There's a place in Bengal called Radha Desh, but has nothing to do with Radha. It's just a place where the Ganges doesn't flow. And then the last line, if you know the last line, how does the last line go? So is that a long A for in the Yamuna, is it the long A first or the long A second? There's two A's. Which A is long, or both of them are? Which A? Quiz. This is a quiz.
Last one is long.
Most people will say the last one is longer, and I thought so too. But you know, because the original ISKCON songbook was printed in 1972, and there's pretty good stuff, but there are a couple of mistakes in it. One mistake was, you know, the prayer by the Gita Govinda, Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandana He, you know that song? Yeah. So it was printed in the songbook. And we all thought, oh, wonderful song by Jaydev Goswami. But actually, Prabhupada had told Achyutananda Swami not to put that in the book, because it's only supposed to be chanted by liberated souls. So, but everybody was chanting it. And then Prabhupada wrote him a letter saying that, and it arrived after the book had already gone to press. So it was printed. So that was one. So I thought maybe, you know, in the book, it said the first A in Jamuna is long. Jamuna. So I thought maybe that's a mistake. I thought for many years. But I asked my senior God brothers, and they said, actually, no. The first A is long, because the word Jamuna Tiravanachari is not an adjective which describes something, but it's the person. Like Vasudev and Vasudev, the long A is this Vasudev, and Vasudev is the son of Vasudev, right? So Jamuna Tiravanachari is the person who's walking along the bank of the Ganges, not just a bank of the Jamuna, sorry. Not just a description. Oh, Krishna, by the way, Krishna walks along the bank of the Jamuna. But no, and it was coined specifically, we know it was coined by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in this song and a couple other songs also. So anyway, these are little details. I get into the stuff. These are better. So we'll sing the Prabhupada's tune. Try. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Jashodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Jashodananda Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Chari Jamuna Tira Chari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Hari जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन जामुन तीरा प्यारी जामुन तीरा प्यारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय ओम विष्णु पाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय आनंद कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय इसकान फाउंडर आचार्य शिव प्रभुपाद की जय नामाचार्य शिव हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय गंगा देवी जमुना देवी तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय श्री बलराम जयंती की जय गौर बलराम की जय श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachalini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes, we are reading, studying, and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2. The Chapter 2 is entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna, and text number 7. Do we chant it responsibly? Good job. Uddhavacha Krishna Jumani Nimloche Girneshva Jagrenaha Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam Gata Shri Shubhishvaham Uddhava Uvacha Krishna Jumaninim Loche Girneshva Jagarena Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam Gata Shri Shubhrishvaham Uddhava Uvacha Krishna Jumaninim Loche Girneshva Jagarena King Nuknak Kushalam Bruyam Gata Shri Shugriheshvaham. Ishchan. Uddhava Uvacha Krishna Duyumani Limloche Girneshva Jagarena Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam Gata Shri Shugriheshvaham. Uddhava Vacha Krishna Jumani Limloche Girneshva Jagarena Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam Gata Shri Shugriheshvaham. Uddhava Uvacha Krishna Jumani Nimloche Girneshva Jagarena Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam Gata Shri Shugriheshvaham. Do we ask anybody online to chant or no?
Finally ask if anybody thanks.
Anybody like to chant on the line?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can chant.
Yes, please.
Uddhava Uvacha
Uddhava Uvacha
Krishna Dhyumani Nimloche
Krishna Jumani Nimloche
Girneshva Jagarenaha
Girneshva Jagarena
Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam
Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam
Gata Shri Shugriheshvaham.
Gata Shri Shugriheshvaham.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Just touch it. Anyone else like to chant? Uddhava Uvacha. Shri Uddhava said, Krishna Jumani, the Krishna's son, Nimloche, having set, Girneshu, being swallowed, a Jagarena, by the great snake, Ha, in the past, Kim, what, Nu, else, Na, our, Kushalam, welfare, Bruyam, may I say, Gata Shishu, with good fortune gone away, Griheshu, in the house, Aham, I. Translation. Sri Uddhava said, my dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare? Purport. The disappearance of the Krishna sun may be explained as follows. According to the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vidura was struck with great sorrow when he got the hint of the annihilation of the great Yadu dynasty, as well as of his own family, the Kuru dynasty. Uddhava could understand the grief of Vidura, and therefore he first of all wanted to sympathize with him by saying that after the sunset, everyone is in darkness. Since the entire world was merged in the darkness of grief, neither Vidura nor Uddhava nor anyone else could be happy. Uddhava was as much aggrieved as Vidura, and there was nothing further to be said about their welfare. The comparison of Krishna to the sun is very appropriate. As soon as the sun sets, darkness automatically appears, but the darkness experienced by the common man does not affect the sun itself, either at the time of sunrise or of sunset. Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are exactly like that of the sun. He appears and disappears in innumerable universes. And as long as he is present in a particular universe, there is all transcendental light in that universe. But the universe from which he passes away is put into darkness. His pastimes, however, are everlasting. The Lord is always present in some universe, just as the sun is present in either the eastern or western hemisphere. The sun is always present either in India or in America. But when the sun is present in India, the American land is in darkness. And when the sun is present in America, the Indian hemisphere is in darkness. As the sun appears in the morning and gradually rises to the meridian, and then again sets in one hemisphere, while simultaneously rising in the other, so Lord Krishna's disappearance in one universe and the beginning of his different pastimes in another take place simultaneously. As soon as one pastime is finished here, it is manifested in another universe. And thus, his Nitya Leela, or eternal pastimes, are going on without ending. As the sunrise takes place once in 24 hours, similarly, the pastimes of Lord Krishna take place in a universe once in a daytime of Brahma, the account of which is given in the Bhagavad Gita as 4,300,000,000 solar years. But wherever the Lord is present, all his different pastimes are described in the revealed scriptures, take place at regular intervals. As at sunset, the snakes become powerful. I didn't know that.
Yeah, not either.
Thieves are encouraged, ghosts become active, and the lotus becomes disfigured. And the Chakravaki laments. So with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the atheists feel enlivened and the devotees become sorry. Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, has set and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?" Om Ajnana Timya Dasya Garanjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. True story. But my spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge, therefore I must first offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Gadam Dadati Sapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Like this. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for the honor of speaking here today in St. Louis, ISKCON St. Louis. Before speaking, I'd like to ask the permission of all the devotees, in particular those who are senior, either by age and/or by advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. The reason I do that is, before speaking, is it has nothing to do with being humble. Just to let you know, nothing to do with that. But it has to do with one time a newer devotee was asked to give class in Philadelphia. Another person came to me and says, "How can you do this? How can I do this?" And there's the description when Vidura is asking questions to Uddhava when Maitreya Muni is there. Remember that? He was asking Uddhava to speak. And what did Uddhava say?
You're from my tribe.
Yeah, why? Hare Krishna.
You were senior in age?
Yes, he was senior. Yeah, he was senior. So he said, otherwise, that's a defense, right? It's a defense if there's a certain kind of offense that is. So I told the person, yeah, well, okay, you got asked to give the class, so you just have to get permission from the devotees, and then they can speak. I guess it's speak. Yeah. So then I thought, well, what about me? Of course, I'm an old guy, but still, there's people who maybe probably there are people who are more advanced and either and/or advanced in Krishna consciousness. So anyway, I thought that might be useful for me anyway. Hare Krishna. This is a very interesting discussion. Vidura, Mahatma Vidura, who is the incarnation of Yamaraj, who was cursed to come to the earth planet. So I have a question. When Lord Krishna was about to appear, beforehand, Hare Krishna, Bhumi, the demigoddess of the earth planet, was disturbed and dismayed by so many demoniac kings who were actually demons, but they were posing as the royal order. And so they were building up their nuclear weapons or other kinds of weapons. And it was overburdening here. So she went to Brahma. And Brahma said, "This is pretty serious." And so he went to ensure the closure, along with various demigods. Do you know what's demigods over there?
No.
From anybody else? Yeah. Anybody else? Lord Shiva. I'm sure many demigods. I didn't know if, there's a picture right here. I don't know if you can recognize all of the demigods that go. There's a picture there, isn't it? Of that. And I don't know if Yamaraj was there. It's a question. It's a good question there. Was Yamaraj there? But anyway, so Lord Brahma's, the demigods, they chanted the Purusha Sukta. And then there was a message transmission to the heart of Lord Brahma. And then what was the message? You remember? The Lord Brahma received from Lord Shiva and Vishnu was there. They should know. Remember what happened?
No.
What's that?
No,
Not at that time.
No. Yes. Yes.
And it said, have all the demigods should take birth in the dynasty.
Yeah, to help him with his mission. Yeah, the definition of a demigod, this is good for us, is to help Krishna with his mission in this material world. You know the verse.
Yes.
Paritrana Shalvina Vinasana Dushkitam Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Samavami. So he told them, all the demigods, you take birth. You take birth. So did the demigods take birth?
Yes.
They did. Where did they take birth? Whose demigods took birth?
Everybody almost.
Huh?
Almost everybody took birth.
So they followed you as a Christian. So where do we know it's demigods took birth? But we know the pastimes of the Christians. You've got Indra, even though he created Krishna in the womb, just a short time later, he tried to murder Krishna in his head. Isn't it? And Lord Brahma, just a short time then, Lord Brahma comes and he kidnaps Krishna's cows and cowherd boys. Yeah. So apparently they didn't come to birth, right? So how do they appear?
Maybe it was beating,
What do you mean?
the beating.
What do you mean?
B team.
There's A squad and there's B squad.
Yeah. So exactly the word in the Srimad Bhagavatam is amsha. They're your amshas. Your potency, your expansions can come to your paper. So they didn't have to leave their posts at the time. Although Vidura did leave his post because he had been cursed. Right? So this word here, look at this word, Krishna Vyumani. Krishna Vyumani. You know, go ahead. Yes.
That's not specifically mentioned in the Bhagavatam or the Krishna.
Yeah, it's in the Sanskrit. It's in the Sanskrit. Amshena. It says it's Amshena.
Acharya gave an interpretation, you know.
Amshena. Yeah, the word is there. Amshena in the Sanskrit translation.
I'm thinking Bhagavatam.
Yes. Yes. Oh, or did Lord Brahma come? So Amshena. And Indra came. How? Arjuna? Yeah, like that. So here we have the sort of Christian Jumani. Ju means, Ju means you follow the shine. Like Drisha Yumna. Yeah. Ju means shine. And money means money. Like Shaman money. What is money? Yeah, jewel. The shining jewel, the shining sun. Here Prabhupada just says the shining sun of Krishna. It's Sat. Krishna Jumani. So Krishna is compared to the sun. Krishna is in the path. Krishna is like the sun, and Maya is like darkness. And wherever Krishna is thought of or remembered, that place becomes, there's no Maya comes. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the nice verse is given. It's in Bengali letters. Krishna Bhuliya Jeev. You know this one? Krishna Bhuliya Jeev, Bhogavan Chakari. Ashiti Maya Hare Jagat Hare.
Prabhupada's favorite verse.
Krishna Bhuliya Jeev. That's the forgetting Krishna. Krishna Bhuliya Jeev. The Jivas. Bhogavan Chakari. Wanting to enjoy. Wanting to get sense gratifications. That's we come to this world not so we can serve Krishna. We come to this world to forget, so we can forget Krishna. Krishna Bhuliya Bhogavan Chakari. Wanting to enjoy sense gratification separately from Krishna. Ashite Maya Hare Japati Adhare. Immediately, Krishna comes, Maya comes and embraces you. Come with me. We're going with me. Come with me now. This is the situation of all of us in the material world. We've been grabbed by Maya. It's very difficult to get out. But the appearance days of Krishna and the great devotees are impetuses, great opportunities to take the opportunity to remember Krishna. Because by remembering Krishna, Maya can come. So regularly remembering Krishna is part of our practice of bhakti. there's so many rules and regulations in Bhakti Yoga. And there's one prime rule and regulation. And all the other rules and regulations serve that. You know what that is?
Smartavya Satatam Vishnu.
Yeah. Says Smartavya Satatam Vishnu.
Vishmatavya.
Yeah. All the different rules and regulations are Kinkara. Kinkara means servant. I Kinkara. Kinkara means servant. All the other rules and regulations are meant to serve. This one rule and regulation is to always remember Krishna and then never forget. I was reading a letter from Srila Prabhupada, and it said, Prabhupada was saying in this letter, the rules and regulations are so important. I was kind of shocked. The rules and regulations about the rules and regulations. So then I looked at the date of the letter, 1966. 1966, yeah. So yeah, the first thing is to get people, get the devotees to remember Krishna, and then the rules and regulations will follow. All of them follow that. Yeah. So this Krishna consciousness movement is helping. Our purpose is to get people to remember Krishna somehow or other. You know, how do they remember Krishna? The way that they remember Krishna is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. The Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna came in Bhakti Yuga, and he said, surrender to me. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me. And Lord Chaitanya came with the same, he said the same thing, but in a slightly different way. He said, chant Hare Krishna. Always chant Hare Krishna. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Same idea. So always remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna. So Krishna Yumani, the son of this world, Krishna's set Uddhava is reminding Vidura that the son is that he knew that Vidura was aware. This is before Vidura goes back to Hastinapur. When he went to Hastinapur and Yudhishthira was there, after a couple of years had he been away, because Duryodhana kicked him out of the palace right before the Kurukshetra war. How many years was he away on Parikrama?
entire battlefield. Says almost 36 years, but I don't know.
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada said in one lecture, Krishna was not no less than 90 years old at the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra. And this is, Krishna had left the planet, and he left the planet around 125 years. So that means Vidura was away for 30, right? 35 years. And he returns, and when he returns, Yudhishthira welcomes him. He says, just like the wings of a bird, you protected us. You protected us like wings of a bird from poison and arson. And at that time, Vidura was speaking on the science of the self, because the Pandavas were there, and also Dhritarashtra was there. But at that time, Krishna had already left the planet. But Vidura didn't want to disclose it to them. Remember this?
Yeah.
Because they would have been heartbroken. Yeah. And just after that, Dhritarashtra leaves home. Dhritarashtra goes to the south side of the Himalayan mountains. And then Yudhishthira begins to see the evil omens that foretold the age of Kali has arisen. And then Arjuna comes back from Dwarka to announce that Krishna has left the planet. So similar to this time, when Arjuna came back, he was disconsolate. He was very unhappy. Why? Do you remember? Why?
He got defeated by the cowherd. He was trying to bring the queens back.
Yes.
He got defeated by this ordinary.
Cowherd boy.
It is the same Arjuna, the same arrows, and the same Gandiva bow to whom all the kings in the world paid homage. But in Lord Krishna, he couldn't defeat some cowherd men who were armed with sticks. Yeah, so that was, but and he recognized it was because of the absence of Lord Krishna. And so he was lamenting grievously the departure of Lord Krishna at that time. But then, you know what happened after he lamented quite a bit in the presence of Yudhishthira Maharaj? Then he began to remember the instructions of Lord Krishna that he gave on the battle of Kurukshetra, before the battle of Kurukshetra, which is, you know what that is, Bhagavad Gita. And by remembering those instructions, his mind became pacified and he was able to get his bearings again. So there was great lamentation, but by remembering Krishna's instructions, he was able to right himself and go on. Because Krishna's instructions and he himself are identical. There's no difference. Krishna is absolute. We say that God is all-powerful. Usually you think of power as, somebody who's a big weightlifter, and, power, that's power. But power also means, an aspect of power is that whatever is associated with him has his potency. That's also another aspect of power. So power, Krishna's power is manifested in that everything that's associated with him, his name, his qualities, his instructions, his devotees, they all have his potency. Power, that's power. That's all powerful. So just like that, Arjuna, remembering the pastimes and activities and instructions of Lord Krishna, he was pacified and felt the presence of Krishna. Similarly, we can do that in our lives as well. Take advantage in the same way that if we want to have Krishna be far away, he'll go far away. But if we want to be always in the association of Krishna, he gives us so many ways to do that. Just like you are having this wonderful deity worship here, Krishna Balaram, Gaur Nitai. Why? Just to remember and serve Krishna. And we have Srimad Bhagavatam class, so we can remember Krishna together. And we chant the holy names, so we can remember our position as servants of Krishna. And that way our misery will be vanquished in this material world by being remembering and being in the presence of Krishna as much as possible. So Srila Prabhupada recommended that devotees should mold their lives, we should mold our lives in such a way that we always remember Krishna. So how to do that? How to do that? There was, he just talked about, have you heard about the Krishna conscious sandwich? You know the Krishna conscious sandwich? You don't know the Krishna conscious sandwich? Never heard of this? Bhima Prabhu knows about the Krishna conscious sandwich. He'll tell us.
Morning, evening program.
Yeah. You got the morning program, Mangalarti, chanting 16 rounds. Morning, and then the greeting the deities, kirtan, and the evening program usually was Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna book also, and then evening arti. And what's in the sandwich? You got 2 pieces of bread, and what's in the middle? Huh? Yes, you put devotional service. Yeah, that's so. If we can have lots of Krishna conscious sandwiches available for partaking, that'll be make us very healthy in our lives. So this discussion here is Srila Prabhupada talks about in the purport. He gives this analogy of the sun rising. It's always rising someplace on the earth, and even though it's rising and sometimes it's setting, it's actually that has nothing to do with the sun. It has to do with us, because we don't see the sun, even though the sun is always there, isn't it? It's always there, but we think it's not there because we don't see it. But the sun is there. Similarly, Krishna's pastimes and activities are always there, but sometimes we forget about them. And what Krishna himself comes every 4,300,000,000 years on the Earth planet. So Srila Prabhupada was having discussion with Jayadvaita before he was Swami. And Jayadvaita, he asked Srila Prabhupada, is Krishna speaking the Bhagavad Gita somewhere in the many universes in this material world? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, he said. And so then Jayadvaita said, so can we go to that place where Krishna is and hear Bhagavad Gita from Krishna like that? And you know what Srila Prabhupada responded? You know what Srila Prabhupada responded? He said, no need to go to that planet. You can associate with Krishna right here and hear Bhagavad Gita here. It's no difference than being exactly with Krishna. You follow. That's very good. I thought that was a very interesting exchange. Yeah. And another devotee asked Srila Prabhupada in a letter, if Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, like the sun is rising always someplace, so at some place it must be the beginning of Bhagavad Gita speaking, the end of Bhagavad Gita speaking, or the end of some other pastime. So Krishna's there, so there must be many different expansions of Krishna, right? And there must be, Arjuna is there with Krishna in every place. Arjuna is there. Or is it a different Arjuna in every universe, or is it the same Arjuna? That was the question.
Amen.
So Arjuna is there, and same Arjuna?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Prabhupada said, Arjuna is always there with Krishna.
Okay. Yeah.
Some lectures he said.
Yeah, good. You're well versed. So Srila Prabhupada's answer was, yes, it's the same Arjuna, because he said a pure devotee can expand himself. A pure devotee can expand himself. Angshe. Yeah. You can understand it in the conditioned state, he said, but that's the fact. That's what he said. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So in this, we're used to, in this material world, we tend to think of ourselves and God. We try to equate ourselves with God, but it doesn't work because we're individuals and God is individual, but his individuality is so much more greater than our individuality. So today, there's Balaram. Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, we say that Lord Krishna has 4 qualities that no other has. What's that word? Is it? So what are those 4 that Lord Krishna has that so many other people don't have? What are the 4? Venu Madhurya. He plays the flute. Lila Madhurya means there's wonderful pastime, which especially childhood pastimes like lifting Govardhan Hill, Mother Yashoda, the Rasa Lila. What else? Rupa Madhurya, unparalleled beauty. And what's the last one? No. Prema Madhurya. His devotees, he's surrounded with devotees who have wonderful love of Godhead, isn't it? Yeah. So does Lord Balaram have those qualities? Yes? No. Yes. He plays the flute?
He can play same flute like Krishna. That's what I heard in one program.
You can check. And now we're very fortunate because they have this thing database, and you can search in database. You can put flute in there, and you'll find. Guess what? Lord Balaram also plays the flute, and guess what? Lord Balaram also has a rasa dance. Separate gopis. Separate gopis, but he has his rasa dance in the springtime, not in the fall season. And he's surrounded with devotees of wonderful love of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada says that the only difference between Krishna and Balaram is, the only difference. So that means that Balaram has those qualities. Krishna's first expansion was Lord Balaram. And in Lord Chaitanya's Leela, Brajendra Nandana J, Sachi Sutta Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai, Deenheen Jata Chilo Harinam Udharilo, Tar Shakki Jagai Madhai. Jagai and Madhai, they're delivered by Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So Krishna Balaram, same. Krishna Balaram, but they're coming in a different mood to deliver people. In Krishna wasn't going out, and Lord Balaram weren't going out necessarily and canvassing to get people to come back to Godhead. Yeah, but Lord Chaitanya, and therefore we say that Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they're the most magnanimous incarnations of Krishna. Janu Lambita Bujo Kanukabatato Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambaro Dvijabaro Yugadharma Palo Bande Jagat Priya Karo Karunavataro. They're the mercy incarnations of Krishna. So you have Gaur Nitai, Krishna Balaram together. So wonderfully. Yes, looks like you have a question. No, I thought you had a question. Yes.
When Prabhupada said, when we worship Radha Krishna, deity worship, I think if you are in the mood of Janam Devi, Karam Devi, all these days, then Krishna vanishes and Vishnu comes. Prabhupada. You are worshiping actually Lakshmi Narayan,
Yeah.
not Radha Krishna. So my point is, when we worship Krishna, the conditions there. So then same thing with Lord Chaitanya also, when we worship Lord Chaitanya is not there, Vishnu is there.
I've never heard that from Srila Prabhupada. Lord Chaitanya is because we worship Lord Chaitanya, he allows us, through his purification of the chanting of the holy names, he allows us to approach Krishna. In the beginning, it's Radha, Lakshmi Narayan. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharir, Hari Hari bolite nayane babe nir. Ar kabe nitai chand, koruno habe, sangsara bashanamo, kabe tucha habe. Then, Bishaya chariya kabe shuddha habe ma, kabe hamaherabo Sri Vrindavan. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, then we can approach Radha Krishna. Then we say, Rupa Raghunath Pade. Yeah. That's in the Hare Krishna movement, that's how we approach Radha Krishna. Through Lord Chaitanya or Nityananda, through the 6 Goswamis. And of course, at the beginning, we're at the level of Lakshmi Narayan. But if we chant, we get a taste for chanting and taste for service, then by Lord Chaitanya's grace and Srila Prabhupada's grace, then we can enter into Krishna's Leela. That's on a higher state. Yes, Prabhu.
Isn't that since we're on the platform of sadhana bhakti, we're worshiping the Lord in opulence, which means Lakshmi Narayan. And when the devotee comes to spontaneous devotion, so Radha Bhakti, then he can worship Radha and Krishna. Isn't it like that?
Well said. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So it's all in our, because we're in the sadhana bhakti stage. That's the way it is. But still, and that's possible through Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Why does Srila Prabhupada, why does the Chaitanya Charita say that if you try to worship Krishna without worship of Lord Chaitanya, that it's demonic?
I don't know that. So you tell me. If people who think they can worship Krishna without.
I see, like in India, people have a cultural background of worshiping Krishna.
Yes.
Every Indian house celebrates Janmashtami, like here they celebrate something, 4th of July. So it's not a leap of faith for them to, worship Krishna. But then when you say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God, Lord Chaitanya is God, you won't get the same kind of response. But then Krishna's cover has tools. Without that faith in Lord Chaitanya, there's a big gap of, appreciating who Lord Krishna really is.
It's a perverted understanding of Krishna.
Not this one.
We don't really understand. What you're saying is those people don't really understand the position of Krishna fully. And the way to understand Krishna fully is to go through Guru and the Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, Lord Chaitanya's direct disciples. Yeah.
That's also in the song, when will I appreciate the literature? So
6 Goswamis. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Another question. You have another question? No.
Continue with Yama Prabhu's comment. That means anybody who has to get the love of Krishna, they have to come to ISKCON or Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya.
So Gaudiya Sampradaya, yeah. Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga avatar. He's coming to preach the Yuga Dharma. And there's in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, there's a discussion by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that all the Vaishnava Sampradayas are going to eventually come together under the banner of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You've read that?
Don't remember.
Yeah, because, says that the Sri Sampradaya, Lord Chaitanya took 2 things from the Sri Sampradaya, 2 things from the Madhya Sampradaya. Yeah. Yeah, so to worship, that's to go to Krishna. Yeah, they can also go to Lakshmi Narayan, that's Vaishnava, that's awesome. But to go to Krishna, this is required.
That means one more point comes to mind. All these Madhya Sampradaya devotees, I am from South India.
Yes.
We never knew about Lordship.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to digest when I joined this call. I believe now, blessings of Prabhupada and devotees, I understand. Now the point is, all these Madhya Sampradaya devotees in South India who worship Rukmini, they don't appreciate Lord Chaitanya's position. That means they are worshipping now Radha Krishna. Because of security, after when they leave the body, again they will take birth in Gaudiya Sampradaya family and then they get love of Krishna like that, something.
Could be. I don't know if that's Krishna's arrangement with them. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different. It could be. You're from the Madhya. No, Madhya.
I'm from Madhya Gaudiya.
Oh, but before.
Huh?
Before?
Madhya.
Yeah.
My family, they said, we worship Rukmini's Bhakti. They don't even worship Radharani. Radharani is a big taboo in South India. But now because of ISKCON and preaching and all. Otherwise, Rukmini.
Yeah.
So, in the first Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami talks about Madhavendra Puri, and he says that Madhavendra Puri is the Prathama. So then I was not sure why there are so many acharyas, why Madhavendra Puri is the Prathama, first acharya. Because Madhavendra Puri, he was coming in the lineage of Madhavendra Puri, but in Madhava Sampradaya, Madhavendra Puri is the first one who approached Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan, Swayam Guru Bhagavan. Ishwar Brahma Krishna Sashananda Vigraha. Swayam Bhagavan, Madhavendra Puri started. His concept was that Swayam Guru Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So, people in India worship Krishna, they not necessarily worship Krishna as Swayam Guru, as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why their understanding is not complete. So to understand Krishna completely as Swayam Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Prabhupada translates, one must have to go through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, Krishna may be worshipped as, they say that Krishna is incarnation of Vishnu. and
The eighth
worship
incarnation of Vishnu,
Ishwara, right?
yes.
They would never get to the madhurya understanding of Supreme Lord unless and until they go to the
Gaudius, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's very,
In other sampradayas, although we saw that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur emphasized the similarities and that and in the Gaudiya Math temple that he established in Maya, where his samadhi is, there's Gandharika Gidhari. And on the four corners, there's the, four different sampradayas, acharya. Right there. So that's what's his mood, and like you mentioned, to bring them all together. There's definitely differences. So, in the name of coming together, what should we accept some things that they do, or should we strictly only follow what we were given?
you got the question? Do they can hear on the line? Yeah.
I
So the question is, there's four sampradayas. Each of them have some differences. There's some, and they do different. It might be ritually or different philosophical slight differences. So the question is, should we adopt some aspects of the different sampradayas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya to help to kind of facilitate the So I don't know if Srila Prabhupada specifically addressed that question that I know of at any time, but I know one devotee, because he was preaching in America, asked Srila Prabhupada, well, you said that Jesus Christ is our guru. So is it okay that we put Jesus Christ on the altar? And he said, did I tell you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? And he said, no. So Prabhupada said, then the answer is no. He says, no, did I tell you to do that? So from that, one could, expand that we do things under the order of the Guru. If he tells us to do this, then we do it. And if he tells us that we don't do it. Guru mukha padda vakya chitete koriya aika koriya adno koriya maniya. We do what he says. And if he told us that, then we would do it. But we can be one and different. We can still be appreciative of Vaishnavas in all different varieties, but we can still maintain a integrity as followers of Lord Chaitanya, of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Yeah. That's what do you think? You know more about this than me.
Of course, I agree with you that Srila Prabhupada was very concerned that after his physical disappearance, they might change things.
They means us.
Yeah, us. We might change them. Because he saw that in the Gaudiya Math, that after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left, there were some very, controversial changes that ran. I can remember one of the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta stopped chanting Hare Krishna in Kirtan.
Really?
Yeah, they don't chant Hare Krishna in the Kirtan. They only chant in Kirtan bhajans. And their idea was that Kirtan is bhajans and the Maha Mantra is for japa.
Japa.
Big change, and very controversial. There were brothers that were both initiated by Bhaktisiddhanta, and they split over this very thing. Left, started their own.
Bhakti.
was Odolomi Maharaj and his brother Bhakti Vijay Kesha
Oh, okay.
were brothers. They split up. So, changing things can be adding things without authorization, changing things. Was controversial in Prabhupada's mind, and I think he instilled in us that not to do that.
Thank you.
To have one.
Yeah, yeah.
When I joined in Vishnu Gadda, I was very new that time. And we were all new on the job. We were all on the job. So one devotee was singing Mangala, one line twice. Sansara Dharma twice. And one sannyasi said, you must chant one line only once. There are 16 lines. If you chant 32 times, Aarti will be over. He said, chant only one line once. And actually, he's telling, I don't know, Prabhupada said, don't even chant my Pranam mantra, but go to Hare Krishna now. But devotees out of love, after the Sansara Dharma praise, they chant Prabhupada Pranam mantra, Panchatattva, and Hare Krishna. Your comment.
And we're talking about Mangalarti. Yeah, yeah. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra is always the main mantra. That's why we call it the Maha Mantra. There's so many mantras you can chant. Many mantras you chant. But this is the Maha Mantra, and Srila Prabhupada emphasized always chanting, the main thing was chanting the Maha Mantra. Okay. So I don't know if I've never heard that it's a rule that you can only chant the one line each of the samsara prayers. But I can understand if you chant, some people, they chant more, twice, and then by the time you get to the Hare Krishna, there's, you have 2 minutes. Yeah. The same thing with the evening arati, with Gaura arati. Actually, it's very interesting because, it's most temples now on Sunday chant Gaura arati for the evening arati. In New York, when I joined, every Sandhya arati we chanted Gaura arati, but not Sunday. Not Sunday. We didn't chant on Sunday. Why? Because it's for new people. New people are coming, and they can't follow this. They have a hard time following. So every other Gaura arati, but we didn't chant, and we chanted one line. I'm just saying this is the background. My experience. So we chanted one line, and we didn't. So there's plenty of time to chant Hare Krishna. So somebody may be able to chant 2 lines fast and get through it and have plenty of time to chant Hare Krishna. But I don't know that. Usually you find it the other way, that it goes on and then it goes on, and then but there's hardly any time for Hare. But many times, Srila Prabhupada, there's 31. If you go to prabhupadvani.org, that website, it has all the recorded kirtans and bhajans of Srila Prabhupada, and there's 31 where Srila Prabhupada is chanting Hare Krishna. 31.
31 times.
31 different recordings. Sometimes he's chanting himself, sometimes it's just bhajan, sometimes he's chanting with devotees. Yeah. And in those 31, how many times do you think he changes the tune during the chanting of Hare Krishna?
Not much.
Guess.
Not much.
Zero. He doesn't chant the tune once. No, not chanted. So that's, does that mean you can't change the tune? No, I'm not saying that, but it means this is how Prabhupada chanted. It was, and you can think, well, it's a meditation, not on the tune or not on the beat, but on the holy name. That's the point to chanting. So Hare Krishna, it's the Maha Mantra. And now, we'll go into this a little bit. Now in ISKCON, everywhere around the world, kirtan's got to end with a jai. Every kirtan's got to end with a jai. It's Shringadev kirtan, or Tulsi kirtan, or Arti kirtan. Every kirtan's got to end with a jai. Now, how many of those 31 recordings that Srila Prabhupada did ended with a jai? How many would you guess?
Almost none.
Zero.
Yeah, almost none.
0. Zero.
No, like what? Jai Krishna. then it's
Jai
Balaram,
Krishna Balam, Jai Didi names, Jai Tulsi Maharani, Jai Nrsingadev, Jai Bhakti Prahlad, all those Jais, they were added afterwards. Nobody chanted Jai, or maybe, I don't know. When in New York where I was, we never chanted the Jais. And somebody said, well, if you chant this Jai, then why we can't leave this person out, and then that person out, and then there's what's his Sudarshan Chakra Jai, all the Jais, that'll take a lot of time. And what's more powerful? What mantra is more powerful? That's the holy name is the most powerful. Yeah. Iti Sodashanam Namnam Kalikalmashanashanam. That's right. So and some of those recordings of Srila Prabhupada, he just chants Hare Krishna. No pranams, anything. So 39% of the time Prabhupada chanted Hare Krishna, 39%. You know what he started with? Any guesses? Vandeham. Vandeham, which is a very, it was Prabhupada often chanted that. Not, nowadays we don't chant Vandeham very much, but maybe we say it before class. But 39% he started with Vandeham. Sometimes he just chanted Hare Krishna, that was it. But sometimes he started with the whole Mangalacharan and then chanted Hare Krishna with one Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Of course, you know that at a certain point, we were all chanting Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya. You know that? Well, in the early part of the movement, we all chanted, you can hear Prabhupada chanting Bhaja Shri Krishna. And then in 1977, Prabhupada said, no more Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, because Bhaja is used mostly by the Hajis. We don't want to use that. We'll just use Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya or Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Like Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So he changed it. And then everywhere all around the world. Anyway, I can go on and on this one. Because when we chant, Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Go. Yeah, but so that's how Prabhupada chanted it. But there was a devotee in New York who didn't like how it worked in the beat, so he changed it to Gadadhar Shivasati. Gadadhar Shivasati. And now everybody chants Gadadhar Shivasati. But Prabhupada chanted Gadadhar. And if you can say, because we had in April, it was Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day. So, when you chant Gadadhar, you're putting a lot of emphasis on Gadadhar, one of the Panchatattva, one of the 5 Panchatattva people. So when you say Gadadhar Shivasati, it kind of merges everybody together. And so anyway, is it a big deal? I don't know. But that's how Srila Prabhupada did it. We changed it. Somebody changed it. Still we're chanting Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati. But and there are so many. Anyway. Well, we're the Prabhupada disciples are now old. And there's a tendency to say, well, they're old and crankety, so They're right. Yes. It's true, yeah. So, but we don't remember these things. We don't remember. Remembering Srila Prabhupada and remembering how he did things is really important, I think.
In Mayapur, 1977 Mayapur Festival, I wasn't there, but I heard that it was organized like Kirtan Mela.
Yes.
And then, they had different Kirtan groups there. Came like a competition.
It was organized as a competition.
And when Prabhupada goes well that year, we learned about new stuff.
Immediately.
Stuff. So do you think that some of the Kirtan melas that are being organized probably would be so happy?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that we have to be very careful about making up new mantras. There's the book Chant and Be Happy. Chant and Be Happy. There's a chapter that says, Srila Prabhupada was speaking with John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and the heading of one chapter is, you can't manufacture mantras. You have to you can't manufacture mantras. And because John Lennon is saying, well, there's so many mantras. Why should we chant Hare Krishna? The Prabhupada said, you have to chant the mantras getting from your sampradaya through your guru. You have to chant those mantras. Chant those, then they'll be effective. Those mantras will be effective. Otherwise, nishpala, yeah. Sampradaya vihinaye mantraste nishpala mata. Those mantras will be effective. They'll get, otherwise nishpala. They're not going to give you the fruit. What is the fruit? The fruit is Krishna prema. You're not going to get Krishna prema. So I mean, there's so many details are there about how we've sometimes changed things or made up things. So we got to be very careful if we make up things. And my godbrother Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu, I don't know if you know Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu. Yeah, so he was the president of Puerto Rico at the time, just before Prabhupada's disappearance. Very interesting story. So Prabhupada, he liked to stay in Hawaii. He would stay in Hawaii sometimes. He liked to climate there. So Lakshmi Nrsimha was the president of Puerto Rico. And this was October of 1977. So Prabhupada was a little indisposed. So he said, Srila Prabhupada, you please come to Puerto Rico. And Prabhupada said, well, tell me about Puerto Rico. And he said, well, he described it, and Prabhupada said, oh, it's like the East Caribbean Hawaii. And so he said, I will definitely come to your Caribbean Hawaii, or East Coast Hawaii, he said. So but right after that, Prabhupada passed away. So then, in those days, there were very few murtis of Srila Prabhupada. We didn't start worshiping murtis of Prabhupada till much later. So right when he got back, Lakshmi Nrsimha got back to Puerto Rico, he got a call from a devotee on the West Coast. He said, no, there's a devotee who was a sannyasi, but he had a murti of Srila Prabhupada, but he's not worshiping it. Can you take it? Can you take it? So he said, yes. So Prabhupada came. You follow? Right after. So that murti is there. Prabhupada came. But anyway, this Lakshmi Nrsimha was chanting for Srila Prabhupada because they had shifts, 24 hours of kirtan before Prabhupada passed away. So his shift was 12 midnight to 2 o'clock. Then he was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then there was a little popular mantra at that time. Maybe you've heard it. Brahma bole chaturmukhe Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare
Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama. So all of a sudden in the middle of the night, he thought Prabhupada was asleep. He started chanting that. And immediately Prabhupada chanted up, boom, stop. Hare Krishna. So did we ever get Prabhupada hearing that, chant that? No, we never heard that. Stop. Only Hare Krishna.
This you said Brahma Mukhe, it is very famous in Sadhu Sangha program. They're all world.
I'm just telling you. This is the experience that my devotee. Yes.
That was one thing that we have.
Maybe so, yeah. I don't remember that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many chants. And you can make an argument in certain circumstances. You can make an argument that, in outside preaching or in some, to people, outside people, you may adjust some things, because, Srila Prabhupada encouraged George Harrison, my sweet Lord, and things. He encouraged him. He was happy that he did that. Of course, that's for the outsiders. It's not, but so you can make an argument that way. But what did Srila Prabhupada himself do? He himself chanted Hare Krishna. That's what he did. And, so there might be some adjustment you make for outsiders. But for the temple or for people, when you're representing Srila Prabhupada, hey, really, yes. Sir.
There's also when is it appropriate for harmonium or when is it not appropriate for harmonium? Because way I heard it, Prabhupada, he was in Philadelphia, and WC feels so really dead in Philadelphia. But anyway, they were in the evening arti, and just the room brought out the harmonium. He started playing, accompanying And Prabhupada told him to stop. Arti means coal and cartels. That's just what was doing. Coal
Yeah, yeah.
for Arti.
Yes. So Prabhupada wrote that also to one letter to Bahudak. Bahudak. Because I don't know if you remember Bahudak. Bahudak was really into harmoniums.
Yeah.
He would go to the Ratyatas. And so he wrote a letter to Bahudak. He said, harmonium is not for kirtan and arti. Kirtan and arti. So that means, and means together, right?
Right.
Give me dal and rice. Well, it's only dal. You give me dal and rice. So it's not for kirtan and arti. And so, because kirtan, one thing is, we're all supposed to stand up, isn't it? Yeah. Did devotees ever play harmonium during arti? Yes, they did. In Prabhupada's presence. In Prabhupada's presence. Bharadwaj and Parikshit, after every class, in morning class in New York, Bharadwaj or Parikshit would play harmonium during there was an arti. They're sitting down. Everybody else was standing up. And so that's Prabhupada's instruction. Yes, that should be followed. There might be some exceptions sometime, might be some, but generally that should be followed. No question about it.
Mostly for the festivals or public gathering.
Yeah, so but for arti, everybody's supposed to stand up. One thing about harmonium, just to know, is Kol and Kartal, you can hear the beat. You can hear because there's you hear the beat. Harmonium, you don't hear the beat. So unless you have people who are very, very careful, it gets all messed up very easily. So that's why you have like people who are like the very famous kirtan people. They train their other people to keep them very close because it's very easy to get lost, very easy to get messed up. Now I was speaking with some devotee, volunteered. He was being trained. Madhava Prabhu from Mauritius. Yeah. So he told me like that. Yeah. So he said that he trained me how to play mridanga with him, and he said, but after half an hour, I felt like I'd been beaten up. True story. Now he wasn't being negative about it, but it's to play according to carefully. It's very difficult with harmonium. You got to be really careful. And now there's many different styles people play, the kartal and everything. But so simpler thing is Lord Chaitanya generally was Kol and Kartal. And for attracting, Prabhupada said, for attracting harmoniums. So I mean there's some people say, and some people say that harmonium is not for kirtan at all. You know that?
I heard that.
That's also, huh?
There is a latest book compiled by Yadata Swami,
Yeah.
the Triple Standard, that does not recommend playing harmonium.
Doing kirtan at all. Yeah, it says for kirtan, it's for bhajan, but not kirtan. So I compiled a list of all the times when I have it in my computer, in case you want it, where Srila Prabhupada encouraged people to play harmonium during Hare Krishna Kirtan, or did it himself. So it's not that you can't play Hare Krishna. I wrote this letter and I sent it to the GBC and the Kirtan minister to say, now we have this book that says this, and in ISKCON people do this. So if it's really what you have to decide what you want and let us know. I just want to know what you want. No answer so far.
We had a godbrother, Attention Krishna Das Maharaj.
Yes.
He would only play Mridanga.
Yes.
Yes. Which
Yes.
means
Yes.
kirtan.
Even harmonium in ISKCON became more prevalent. One reason is we didn't have any money for harmoniums in the early days. Yeah, there's one letter that Tamal Krishna Maharaj wrote to before he was Maharaj, wrote to Srila Prabhupada, said, we're here in San Francisco, and for Sankirtan we need a harmonium. He says he writes to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, well, you give me $100, I'll get you one. He says, for Sankirtan. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind attention and the opportunity to speak about. I wanted to make one comment about Lord Balaram, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
I was thinking about this yesterday. That human beings, we like to expand ourselves. How do we do that? People have kids, right? They expand, but it's not exactly an expansion. It's but
There
they're
are more dogs than kids now.
yes, that's true. That's true. And we expand ourselves, but you need the help of somebody else to expand yourself. The man needs a woman needs a man. But Krishna can expand himself. He expands himself. And we have a tendency to want to expand ourselves. Krishna also has a tendency to expand, but he doesn't require any help. He can just, and this is something amazing. And I was thinking about this. Think about this. One-celled animals like amoebas and those things, they can replicate. You know that? Yeah. So they have some.
Please repeat this.
What like an amoeba?
Amoeba, yeah.
They can duplicate themselves, and then they get to be four, and then it's called asexual reproduction, isn't it? Yeah. So they have some of the potency of God. I mean, they don't have the other potencies, but they can expand themselves. Like Krishna expands himself as Balaram, and then Balaram expands as Chaturvyuha, and there's Narayan, and then there's the second Chaturvyuha, and then there's Mahavishnu, and then Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then Kshirodaksha Vishnu. He expands so many ways. So we say God is one, but at the same time he's many. Achintya Veda Tattva. This is mind-blowing, the science of God. Who else has this kind of conception of God like that? You can't get, the Christians talk about God spoke to Moses in a burning bush. You know this? That God spoke to Moses. So do they worship burning bushes? Do they? Or how do they understand that? How does they understand? Is it expansion of God? How is that? But we say God comes in many ways. He expands himself as an avatar, or he says a Shakti Avashavatar, or he comes as a deity, he comes as a holy name. He can expand himself unlimitedly. And the first number one expansion, that's Lord Balaram. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj goes incredible lengths to describe the expansions of God, starting from Lord Balaram as Nityananda Prabhu. That's yeah.
Good avatars. You all coming from the flower.
Yeah, in the teachings of Sanatana Goswami, and also in the beginning when he's talking about the glories of Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda Ram. Yeah. So this is something that nobody else really talks about.
Like Krishna Deva, Sanskrit, you told him, go to Vrindavan, you'll obtain all things.
Yeah, because his brother's Pujari, when Miniketan Ramdas, it wasn't Nityananda, but he's a devotee of Lord Nityananda. He didn't give him respect. So he could understand from that they had the philosophy of half a hen.
Because he had faith in Lord Chaitanya, but no faith in Lord Nityananda.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Arda Kukita Nyaya. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have he and because he rejected Lord Nityananda, he fell down. So similar, yeah. Lord Chaitanya, Krishna and Balaram, we have to worship and respect Krishna, not just Krishna alone, but Krishna, Balaram, Krishna, Srimati Radharani, Gandhari Vika. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Oh, there's two chats in here. Something here.
Yeah, all thank you. There are so many devotees there all saying thank you for the class. Thank you.
Haribo.
Vishnu Gadda Prabhu ki. Nityananda Jayanti and Balaram Jayanti ki. Oh, so while you are on the asam, you wanted to get to come here more often.
So why don't you invite him for the public chat?
I mean, whenever you like to come, you can do some home program there.
From what?
They should invite you for the public Janmashtami. They have two Janmashtamis. One is right here in the town. And then they would hire the Hindu hall. But
Yeah.
now that we have this new property, they can celebrate the public Janmashtami.
Are you going to do that?
Oh,
Yeah, we do every year. We do every year a very big festival. This year we're planning to be even better because we have our own temple. In Brooklyn, Jim Hall,
you confirm that with my.
27th September, we can buy it right now.
Sometime in September. Okay, so I have to, because I'll have to see what my calendar is, I can talk to you, yeah. Hare Krishna,
Thank
so
you.
Madhvacharya, you know Madhvacharya, so. What was this guru's name?
There was one Madhvacharya, one of the followers of
Vyasdev.
No, but in their sampradaya, they say his guru was Achyuta Preksha, no. Akshobhya, no, Achyuta Preksha was that. And some people say that he was a Mayavadi. You know that? Yeah. Some people say he was a Mayavadi. So how is that possible? Because we say he's the disciple of Vyasadeva in our group, but in the Madhva Sampradaya. So I asked the devotee who's also background from Madhva Sampradaya to ask the head people in their Sampradaya, who is do they say that Achyuta Preksha is a Mayavadi or Vaishnava? And they said, they said, but that doesn't make sense, because if otherwise, how do you have, that means they have to accept that Madhvacharya is the beginning of the disciplic succession. If you have, because we say the disciplic succession has to be, you're passing down the knowledge, right? There's a devotee, your friend Purna Pragya, he wrote a book called the translation of the Srimad Vijaya. And in that book, he says that he was a covered personalist. He wasn't a Mayavadi. So I wondered where he got that information. So I thought maybe you'd know. Because at the time, anybody who was a Vaishnava, they would come and, they'd come and burn their houses and stuff like that. It was so vehement, the conflict between Vaishnavas or people who were in the personal idea of God. Something like in the Christian religion, in the Middle Ages, they had some people called iconoclasts. Have you heard of this? Iconoclasts. And they would go to churches where they had, statues of saints and stuff and smash them. You can't have any idols and smash them.
That came with the Protestant Reformation.
Even before. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Bhagavatam ki jai. Ram Jayanti ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sri Chaitanya.